When making any kind of video, the most important part will usually be the audio. Ironically, most people don't really know how to get a good audio to put with their video, and many of us can get a very decent and very high quality video, but getting the audio right is always a challenge. So today we're going to be taking a look at Zoom F6. This is a recorder, a field recorder actually. It is typically used to record stuff from one of its 6 XLR inputs. They all have phantom power, you can engage or disengage it, and typically you take this outdoors to record. But as I found in my most recent experiments, using this will result in a much better quality than using any kind of USB sound card that has XLR and phantom power too. What exactly is this? Well, a field recorder. Why exactly would you need a field recorder? Well, basically once you step up your game in the audio territory, you want to use a shotgun microphone for voices usually. There are setups where an XY microphone could be good, but I would personally recommend avoiding an XY microphone. And the reason for that is that most rooms will have some kind of echo, and an XY microphone typically has 2 microphones like this, XY, so they would be recording all of the echo in your room. And I made this mistake when I first started reviewing. I have started with an XY microphone, and the echo was quite terrible, quite audible, and it is really hard to remove that in post. So I have started investing in better microphones, and I have made quite a few upgrades. I have gone from a Zoom H2N to a Zoom H5 and finally to Zoom F6. And today's unit is provided to us with love and passion by Zoom themselves. So the main point of this is that this, and I mean this Zoom F6 in particular, is the most widely used recorder in the whole film industry. This is basically what most movies have their audio recorded with. And I've seen this one being used in official interviews, I've seen this one used in official movies, and basically everywhere. So what makes it special? Well, first off, you have 6 XLR inputs. This is a crazy number of inputs, and you can control the volume of each one of those inputs individually. So you can connect 6 different microphones to it. You can record all of this audio in different files. So you have each microphone recording in its own file, or you can record them in a mixed file. You can even record them in a multi-track file if you want to get some of that mess off your chest when you are editing. This recorder also has the best sounding phantom power out there. Phantom power is basically used for microphones that need phantom power, which need like a baseline voltage to work. And for that, you have to provide them with a phantom power. And this is where a bad recorder and a good recorder will have the highest difference, because usually a bad recorder will have a noisy power, which will result in a background noise, which is similar to audiophile stuff like hissing or electronic noise or crackling and such stuff. And you will hear that if your recorder isn't of a very good quality. Zoom F6, on the other hand, has one of the best qualities out there. And this one has such a clean power that you'll be able to use basically every single shotgun microphone out there. So once you get this recorder, you just invest in the microphone. You don't really invest in better recorders anymore because there simply isn't any. Zoom is known as the daddy of the recorders, and this isn't the first recorder they made, but this has been the most successful one. This one has seen usage in basically every single field, including music recording, and a lot of our favorite albums have been recorded with a Zoom F6. The main reason for that is that this one has 32 bits float recording, which means that regardless of how loud the sound will get, it will never clip with the Zoom F6. Basically, it can increase the bit depth so that nothing will ever clip, which means that you can get the best quality, the best resolution possible from a recording without fearing that things got too loud. And that is really, really nice, because otherwise with recorders you typically get clipping quite fast, which means that once something goes very loud, it just clips. There is no information anymore, you cannot save that recording, you have to either re-record, which is usually extremely expensive or even downright impossible, or you have to spend a lot of time and still get a poor quality recording. So Zoom F6 answers all of those problems by having 32-bit float recording. You can actually disable this to have a lower bitrate recording so that you can save up some space. And of course, having 32-bit float recordings means that you'll get much larger files, which will need to be processed. If you are really new to audio recording, you have to keep in mind that regardless what recorder you are purchasing, everything that will get out of a recorder or even of a DAW or even of a sound card will need to be processed. You'll need to apply a bit of noise reduction, a bit of dynamic compression to bring everything a bit louder, even apply some EQ if you want. And this is how I've processed my audio. Right now, I would switch to the original audio file of the Zoom F6. If you can see, there is quite a bit of a difference between the original file and the processed file. Usually you don't record at the maximum possible volume because sometimes you speak a bit louder and you don't want your voice to clip. So it is recommended to record at a quieter volume and to bring that volume up in post. This is similar to a camera, so bringing the volume up in post is like increasing the exposure post photo. This usually adds a bit of noise, but it saves you the headache of having clipping, and that is the same principle as it is with images and video. You don't want clipping. Clipping is the biggest enemy of a quality content. I am following quite a few YouTube channels that have this problem, and I've tried speaking with them. I tried explaining to them that to get less clipping, you have to get your audio a bit quieter and then increase it in post if you really need to. And it is quite complicated to explain this, so to put it simply, audio is your voice. A microphone doesn't record your voice naturally, it just records what it can out of your voice, then it compresses that into a digital signal, but the digital signal can't go as loud as your voice can. Your voice has basically an infinite dynamic range, so it can go from really quiet to really loud, and a microphone is supposed to record that, but above a certain point it will clip, which means that all of the information, for example, if my voice goes really loud, all of the information becomes a full volume sound. So there is clipping. There you cannot really recover what I said. If I'm starting to speak really loud, this effect happens and you get a poor recording. There are other ways to get poor recordings. Don't worry, you can have a recorder that isn't detailed enough, which isn't clean enough, and a recording that doesn't have a proper quality. Happily, Zoom F6 is the perfect recorder. This one has proper quality, proper detail, and proper resolution. It is basically the dream ideal recorder ever created. This has blown my mind because I have used all of the Zoom products before it. I have tried all of the Zoom recorders and none of them wasn't perfect. And I just kept switching them. I kept purchasing and selling and purchasing and selling until I decided to try the Zoom F6. And upon trying the Zoom F6, I have told myself, this is the last upgrade. There is nothing to upgrade to after this point. I could use this for music recording and I would still be happy, and I would happily hold it in my hands, but it is currently recording the audio for this video because, you know, right now I'll play a bit of what Canon R6 Mark II sounds like without a proper microphone and a proper recorder. And as you can see, the sound is terrible. The sound out of any camera is terrible, and this is a high-end mirrorless camera and it still sounds bad. Imagine that most recorders will improve the sound quality a bit, but nothing improves the sound quality quite like Zoom F6. Also, having this large number of inputs mean that you can connect basically anything. Is not just a shotgun microphone like I am using the Rode NTG3B to record my voice, but you can use basically any other shotgun microphone. Even lavalier mics can connect to it. You just have to remember to make sure that you either turn on or turn off the phantom power. Some lavalier mics will need phantom power, but most of them don't, and then you have to turn it off. You also have levels of phantom power. You have both 12 and 24 volts, and you can set everything from the menu. You can use this one as a USB interface, so you can read the micro SD card. You don't have to remove it every single time, and you can use it to record sound directly to your computer as well. But I think that the best way to record it is to a micro SD card and then copy that to a computer, because the quality seems a bit crisper, seems a bit more resolute, and it seems to have lower noise this way. The batteries it takes are either 4 AA batteries, which is a handful to carry around, and they deplete quite quickly, or you can use one of the Sony L batteries. And this Sony L battery, I'm using the smallest one available, which is the NP550. This has 2200 milliamperes and it basically never depletes. I can use this to record up to 11 hours in my experiments. And then you have this type of battery, which is a larger battery. This one is an NP F970. This one has 6600 milliamperes, and you will basically fill any microSD card out there before you consume this battery. So if you invest just a few dollars, even in an off-brand Sony L battery, you won't ever have to worry about depleting the Zoom F6. 32-bit float files can be huge. They can occupy a lot of space, and I would recommend investing in a larger microSD card. Happily, you don't need anything special. You don't need V90 cards like I need with my Canon R6 Mark II. This one requires me to purchase the most expensive type of card available on the market, which is a V90 card, because otherwise I can't record in 4K 60 frames per second video. So with the Zoom F6, you don't have to worry. You just need to have a large card so that you can record in the highest quality possible. It can record either mono or stereo, and in this case, you can combine two channels to get a stereo signal. You can do basically anything you can imagine with it. You can even map the multi-channel in the way you want from the menu. The device has a very tiny display, which I think isn't the most useful stuff out there because you will barely see anything. What I think is very useful is the fact that the play, stop, pause button is red and lights up when recording, and that is a big plus because I can assure myself that I'm recording without opening it up, without having to stop the video recording process. Everything just works flawlessly. The unit is also not very scratch resistant. I managed to scratch it while taking photos for the review and while taking the video b-rolls, so you can actually purchase a little case for it, although I think that the unit is very rugged and very resistant to damage, so while it will scratch, it won't get imaged easily. I do plan on making more content about recording and about how to get the best audio quality in your recording, how to get the best video quality, and what I've discovered in the journey of making YouTube video reviews. I hope that you'll be looking forward to that. Don't forget, you can use the purchase link in my video description. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Please leave a like on this video if you found it entertaining, interesting, and informative. And Zoom F6 is the ultimate answer for a recorder. I would skip every other recorder and get the Zoom F6 straight up. It is a bit pricey, but there is nothing, and I mean nothing out there that is worth purchasing compared to it. And I wish I knew this. I wish I would have done this because I've spent so much time and I had so many videos that have a poor audio quality because I wasn't using such a good audio recorder. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you do enjoy the quality of the video. Please, if you have questions, please write your question and I may be able to help. If you want to have more fun, please watch more videos from me from Audiophile Heaven, and I hope you have a lovely week out there. We'll see each other really soon. Bye bye.